Hello, good morning. Hi, Demoroy. How are you doing today? Esitsu, hello. How are you also? How's your weekend? And Game Stylist, hello. How are you as well? Is it cold there? It's early in the morning. It's, the high today is going to be around 79, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. But currently it's like 54 or so. So it's not warm. I wouldn't say necessarily like super cold. But I'm also in a basement, which is a lot colder than elsewhere, both of like in a house and outside. Oh, okay. So you wanted to come say hi and then just immediately leave. You made slow progress in your project over the weekend. 2 commits down, only 1,000 to go. Well, if you know how many commits there are, then that's perfect, right? Now you know it's only going to be 500 weeks. There's like what is it, like 10 crates in the project? Just under 10 years. Sounds reasonable. It is ironic though. Some projects actually do take that long. Like every time I read about like how long it takes someone to like make a or how, not just someone, like when even a group of people, a team, are making like a big product, it's so long. So much time needs to be spent to build those things. All right, we are continuing on with the testing of well, I guess rewriting the testing. I think I deleted all the tests previously, and now we're rebuilding them. Mr. Wormhole, hello. Good morning. Is this NeoVim? You promise you won't start yet another text editor war. No, this is not NeoVim. This is Helix. So we tried, I set up NeoVim on stream earlier in the year, and it was great. It's fine. But Helix came out, and Helix has these type hints, like these sort of like hintings in here that's in line. So I actually get it in here. NeoVim or Vim, I would need to put at the end of the line. So this is very similar to VS Code. So therefore I went in here. It's not, I thought it does ship for Linux. Let's find out. Oh yeah, it has Linux. So this one you should be able to get. And you can get it from apt-get instead of a snap. Oh, there was one called Ned that was not shipping for Linux. It was macOS and Microsoft only. I don't think I've ever tried that one. I like it a lot. There are some big differences to be aware of. So just go in with the expectations that some, but not all, of the keyboard shortcuts you're aware of are the same. You can change the keyboard shortcuts. So if you want to just make everything similar to what NeoVim was, you'll be able to. It just obviously is more time, but most of these text editors, that's the investment for that. And then you need to install the language engines yourself. But usually once you install them, things just work. Yeah, like lots of tweaks are, well, I shouldn't say lots of tweaks. Not too many tweaks should be necessary. I just heard Zilby tearing the other direction upstairs. I have the windows open upstairs, so I'm certain that he saw like a bird or an early squirrel or something. Especially if they're like moving back and forth. Sitsu, you had so many crates to release, you had to create a graph. It is out of date now, but there are 32 and probably more unaccounted for. Oh man, that is a huge thing. Yeah. Are they all sort of like micro things? I've been thinking that I should probably start thinking about that as like creating crates for little things that I have to do over and over and over again inside of my projects. If it is easier than Vim or Emacs, a big win for you. Also needs to work with Wayland. I don't know about Wayland, but easiness, definitely easy to configure. Easy to learn, I don't know. I think each person is sort of like going to be different with that. But you can sort of take a look at how we're going to work here. Like all the normal stuff is here. So you have insert mode and command mode. So that all makes sense. I think the things that are majorly different, like if you see something, just shout it out and I'll sort of like describe what's going on or what I did or how I have to do it too. Okay, there's gonna be 10 more crates and then some macro crates too. 3 main projects divided into multiple components. Oh, that's always like, once that's done though, you're just gonna feel so good. Okay, what do I need to do to update a book? I don't want to update one of the existing books in the database, one of the seeded books. So we're gonna have to, we have to create a book. Once we create a book, I want to update book. And then verify update happened. All right, so create a book. New book. I guess like the first thing, to get the type hinting working for Rust Analyzer, I had to install Rust Analyzer and I installed it from Homebrew because the one from Rust Up wasn't working. It just didn't work for me. And I would guess that there's one under apt that you could install. I would not, so I never ever suggest Homebrew for Mac. For Linux. Homebrew is great on Mac. Just use apt on Linux. It's there. Apple doesn't have a CLI package manager, so that's why we need one. Okay, so we're gonna go test book. Create a new random one. Guess I could just shadow these all the time. Let's see. URL. I want to go to books. You're all the way on a bleeding edge, living on the impossible life of a package manager. We joke about that, but I do remember the days when I didn't have that, and oh geez, when I was going to school and I was learning systems administration for the first time, I was using Red Hat Linux, and Fedora had just recently come out. Let's see what else. So there was Yum, and everybody was like, well, should we use Yum or should you just like go find the package yourself? Like that was a bigger. Oh, you're an Arch. Okay. Yeah, I don't really recommend anything other than Ubuntu for beginners with Linux. I think Fedora is great too. You had to switch after corporate drama? We had to use Red Hat at my place of work, because of corporate stuff. Because they were one of the few ones that had support, and they were one of the few ones sort of like authorized to use by security. They can put a paywall for Fedora. Yeah, of course we had to use we use Red Hat, which is like, talk about a paywall. That's a paid for, very expensive operating system, which is, if you use Fedora, basically you get Red Hat with all the updates for Fedora. Red Hat, the thing that bothered me the most was, okay, well, this package got updates like half a year ago, and they're still under testing in Fedora, so we're not going to see it for another 6 months. So good luck for that. Either we're going to have to recompile it ourselves to get that update, or something else. Yeah, it was a thing. All right, so we get a client. I need a request. No, this is going to be a response. Okay, we're going to post a URL. We're going to set the JSON to be the new book. And then we're going to send you. Okay, so that gives us you. Why are you upset? I think it's upset because I'm not returning this thing. I should just go like that at the very end. Zig has found an LLVM bug in LLVM 16. It delayed LLVM 15 package to move to 16 and all official Linux distros. Oh no. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Which sucks because there's probably some nice updates in there. Yeah, official repos now have it from 6 months ago. That happens an unfortunate amount of time. Oh, and then then it requires Cling 16. Yeah, it's the spaghetti. It's the spaghetti of of the package management, which is the reason why package managers exist. Is because like, okay, I have to install this one thing, and it's like, well, these 20 other things need to be installed / updated in order to handle that. And previously it was like, okay, well, let me go find all of those packages myself and either compile them or install them. Or just wait for the package manager. So I'm lazy these days. Now I just wait for the package manager. Okay, so I did the response. I just want to make sure that we got a 200. So assert equal response dot status is 201. And that is creating a book. Okay, now I want to update this book. I guess, wait, do I get the book? I get the book back, don't I? Oh, so I actually need it. So hold on. Created book. Then we get JSON out. And you're going to be a book. And I want to use that one. Okay. Transients, hello, welcome. How do I configure NeoVim to display LSP diagnostics in the corner of the buffer when you position a cursor on a specific line? It looks concise and clean. What I did was give up on NeoVim and switch to Helix. So this is Helix now, and it gives me all that stuff out of the box for free. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing, is just switching over. And I switched over specifically because I get the LSP stuff. It was super nice. Sometimes life is as simple as grabbing a built binary from a GitHub release. Sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. And tomorrow, you recently stumbled upon a bug in Clang, which blocks ES2256 validation, which has been patched, but Apple is yet to implement the patch. Yeah, that's a thing. If you're down to write some Lua, you can hook into LSP events and then use plenary. Oh, that's true. You can hook into some of those events in NeoVim, can't you? But I still don't think you can put it down here. If you want this type of stuff, you have to put it at the end of the line. Because I don't think it can let you put this type of thing inside the middle of the string. In NeoVim specifically. They have a new API for doing... Ooh. Okay, that's nice. I do like the fact that there's more CLI editors coming out right now, which means a lot of competition, a lot of updates are going to be coming. If seems like they already have been coming, which is it just means we're going to win. We're going to be spoiled for choices, and those choices are going to get better and better and better. Until eventually we won't move back into like the VS Code era where one just takes over, wins, and the entire thing starts over again. It does feel like that. I see so many more TUIs these days. That being said, they are really marketed towards us. You don't see a TUI marketed to a non-programmer. Not anymore. That used to be the deal back in when that was the easiest way to program. Okay, I want to update. What was that? Oh, it was a tweet to a NeoVim status. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm not logged in. So that's what that was for. I shouldn't. There can still be pretty not great stuff on Twitter/X, or I think it's X now. I will have to. Well, I won't whitelist it yet. Sorry about that, Demal Riot. Yeah, I have some links not allowed, and Twitter, unfortunately, people can put bad stuff in there. Oh, so they do have inlay hints now. Okay. API is not final, but it's coming. Nice. A lot of TUIs are writing concise help and shortcut menus, which is, I mean, that's also nice. Just adding help/documentation inside of the app is nice. Although it's kind of funny, we're moving full circle again, but now with almost like GUI level support for TUIs. Because I don't know, actually, maybe most of us don't remember. Back in the old days when TUIs were the only choice, it's like the library systems, shopping systems, they were all terminal apps. And people could move around them super fast, but they were extremely unintuitive. Like if you were, I don't know if anybody has seen any of those, watching somebody move through it was magic, essentially. It was as magical as watching somebody who knows like a Vim-based editor move through at full speed. It was that amazing. You remember News Terminal of the old TVs? Yeah. So think like that. For everything. It was so confusing. Everything was confusing. It took you forever to learn the system. And then once you learned it, you were super fast because the terminal-based stuff, confusing as it was still faster than GUI when it at its best. So moving back to terminal, but with good actual documentation, good design, like actually hiring designers to help with the TUIs. Oh man, we're in for a new era of a TUI support. Let's make that mutable for the created book, and then what I could do is I can created book. Oh, I'm gonna need RNG, aren't I? Let's take our name and let's update the name of this. Wait, can't I can map this, can't? Oh, no, I might as well just create a new one. We'll do an alpha. Okay, so if we just update the name. Oh, hi. Sylvie, you want to come out this way? Yeah, sorry. Here. I don't know where you want to go. Let me turn that off. Put you over here. Now you can come. Sylvie, you want to come over here? instead of just standing next to the camera? No? Okay. Look, you can come. The path is free. Okay, no, never mind. He just wants to sit next to the camera. All right, so I update the name. I can update the other things too, can't I? So let's do created book dot. So we have name. I don't want to update the ID. Everything other than the ID. Actually, you know what? I could just say like, hey, yeah, we're totally going to update the ID. How about this? And it shouldn't happen. Oh, okay. You want down here? Where are you? Okay. Are you trying to come to my lap? Oh, I think he might be trying to get onto my lap. Come over here. This way. It's okay, Zilby. He's very uncertain right now. That direction? Okay, then just off. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mr. Wormhole. You had 5, 3 of them are adopted. I'm sorry to hear that. They Zilby's our only cat. Oh, he's hanging in the room just underneath that little ladder thing that I left a whole bunch of stuff out here. And he seems to enjoy it a lot more because he can play around with it. Or just like little places to hide. But yeah, he's an oldie cat. If you go back to some of the really old videos that we have, you can catch glimpses of him as a kitten. Because we adopted him, we rescued him when he was, we think, 10 weeks old. Yeah, it's hard not to sometimes if we like cats, or just any pets really, right? Because there's so many that need to be rescued, and they're just like they're so good companions while they're with us. All right, so let's set the ID to be, we could do this as just a, no, it'd be, yeah, RNG, gen range. So it's an I32, so I want it between, I guess, like 1 and 10,000. Oh wait, that's not a range. That's a range. Oh, that's true. True. You could always foster too. I've thought about fostering for like a second cat. I just don't know what. Look, we have some like uncertainty happening right now, and I don't want to like take a foster and then have to immediately give up the foster. That wouldn't be fair to the cat. You're on an extreme scale after the first cat's like, why adopt when it's gonna die? if you're in that sort of mentality, then it's probably not the best idea. That sounds like a little bit of like just sort of have to work through that sort of like acceptance and like what's going on with that. But yeah, once you get there, then it'll be then you'll be in a good place again. Price. Okay, so let's do RNG. We'll do another gen range. Price can be owned between free and, again, just a large number. In stock. Did I somehow got the equals on that one. Okay, in stock is a boolean, so that's gonna be a sum RNG gen bool 50%. You'll volunteer with a golden retriever rescue and foster often. Very heartwarming, where the perfect match happens and they find a good forever home. I can imagine that. I have a friend who fostered a dog. But they ended up adopting the dog that they fostered. And they already have 2 or 3 cats too. There's a saying, if you have a glass and that glass is broken, do you give up on drinking water? But from the point of thinking, is the cat as important as water? I don't know. I've been going through, like, I go through therapy too. And my sort of like thought these days on that is it can be. It depends, right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Like they might be as important as water if that's what we need right then. And they can help us give what we need, then they're that important, right? They're as important as life. You've never been a dog person, but cats like you for some reason. Oh, that's nice. I've met dogs that act like cats. I'm curious whether or not like those type of dogs would like you too. Okay, so we do that. So I update everything in this book, and then I want to now send it off. So I have the client. I need a new URL again. I wanted to get the original ID out first. So let's put this up here. Demoroy, thank you for the subscription. For 3 months of a subscription. Thank you. I forgot that that's even possible now with Twitch. Dogs are so outgoing. They can be. So this I have a friend whose dog is like we call him a cat essentially. He's not like a little dog, but he's not a big dog either. So he's just like somewhere in the middle. And that dog is like a lap dog, where he, like, if his owner sat down. He wants to sit on his owner's lap, which is fine because he's like as large as a large cat. But then he also like wants to run and play with his owner, and that's it. Like anybody else, he barely gives you the time of day. Like he won't even necessarily look at you. It'll be the same actions as a cat who doesn't care about somebody else. It's like you walk in, you're like, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, do you want to come greet me?" And like you'll see his like ears to go like to like acknowledge that you exist, and that was it. So I don't know. Maybe that could be like a type of pet also. In your neighborhood, everyone has dogs. They walk with dogs every 1 to 2 hours. I mean, it's the same here. We're surrounded by dogs, all around. Zilby seems to be okay. Like the one time he got out and he escaped, he jumped the fence, went to our neighbor's yard, and scared the heck out of our neighbor's dog. And Zilby was like, "Yeah, friend." So we had to go in and rescue his dog, who was terrified of new Zilby. So Zilby might be okay with dogs. Like if I get another pet, maybe I'll get a dog because maybe Zilby wants something like that. Seems crazy to me. You could build side hustles or side projects for that much time rather than going outside. Crazy investment 1 to 2 hours per day. Sure, it is healthy to run outside for that much time. I mean, it is healthy for that. And I do know people that get pets because the pet forces them to go outside. Like that was the choice. Is like, I want to go outside. It's really hard for me to do this for myself. So therefore I'm going to get a creature and it's going to force me to go outside for them, which is good for me. All right, so I get the URL. I use the ID from the created book. So now I've updated the created books. Now I can actually do the thing. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna give it the URL. I'm gonna give the JSON, which is the created book again. Okay, send that all off. So I get that. Now I expect that this should work. So that should work. I should get the updated book. Which is again a book. Okay, so that should give me that. You see the dog logic now? Yeah, that's I've met people who say that they purposely got a dog and it helped pull them out of depression because it forced them. But I've also heard people that like, if it's expectations, right? If you don't really realize what you're getting into, it could put you into depression too. Like being too needy. So it's like everything is something you have to consider. I've always felt, and maybe fostering is this answer, I've always felt that there should be some like shorter term than life ability to like adopt, and maybe that is fostering, where it's like, okay, I'll take the dog for like a couple of years. Okay, so I get the updated book, and now I want to make sure that the updated book is the new things and not the old things. Game Stylist, hello. You need an honest opinion. How hard is it to make a game engine? I think it's going to be one of those it depends answers. What level game engine are you trying to make? Like, are we talking about something that just makes Pong, or are we talking about something that makes a AAA first-person shooter with multiplayer support? And yeah, 3D graphics, 2D graphics, like what type of game? Because each engine, like you don't want to. Well, here's this thing. Don't make a game engine that can do everything. That's Unity. That's don't do that. That's not worth it. That's why Unity exists. Just use them. Or any of the other big game engines. My dad loves German shepherds. Has had them all of his life, and the problem with purebred German shepherds is that they get tons of health issues, just like well many of the other purebred breeds. So the best breeds, in my opinion, of dogs are um non pures, the ones that have like some mixes in them, because I think the bloodlines are stronger then. I've never understood the people who are like, I must have, absolutely have to have, like a pure bred like breed. It has to be, we have to trace its lineage back to like, ancient times. Here in Colorado, huskies are super popular, and I totally understand having a husky here because it gets so cold over the winter, and you see huskies are like, yeah, let's go outside. And it's like 4 degrees outside, and you're like, yep, let's go outside. Okay. What's the project in Rust you can make that's actually useful? Um, engine has been canceled. Uh, so if you want it to be in game dev, there's lots of there's lots of utilities and sort of like tools. So take a look at Bevy as the game engine in Rust. I think that's one of the biggest sort of up and coming game engines there. And there's always going to be some kind of like plugins that you just need to have that are not going to be involved in the project. So if you can create something that's for yourself, it might be helpful for everybody else too. All game engine stuff canceled. Have you built a game before, Game Stylus? Super Cuber, hello. You've never done game dev. Okay. I recommend, even if you don't want to like build anything big or for other things, build a 2D arcadey type game. It doesn't matter what game engine it is. Just choose any game engine and just build that. I think it's a lot of fun. It yeah, I only half agree, Mr. Wormhole. Um don't put it on your general resume, but sometimes that kind of thing can be helpful if the hiring managers and the teams that you're going to work with understand and they themselves have done some game dev in the past, because there's a lot of lessons that you learn in game dev that are applicable to like all programming, but most people don't really understand it. They just hear game dev and think that you're just playing games. Oh, Ansible clone. Interesting. Okay. Ansible, yeah, it's an automation tool. It's solidly in the DevOps space. So it's big on like automating deployments, automating spinning up of systems, things like that. I mean, to be honest, when I suggested to my students like what to do, it gets really hard for like other people to suggest ideas. So here's my suggestion. Get a pad of paper or like create a notes in your like phone or something, and then go around, and then anytime that you have any frustration on anything at all, it doesn't matter if it's computer related or not. Anytime you have a frustration, write down what that frustration is. That's a potential project right there. And if it's a non-computer based frustration, like, you know, something about like, oh, feeding my cat Zilby is like frustrating in certain ways, that there might be a software and tech solution to that. You might be able to get a Raspberry Pi or some little, you know, thing and like build something that automates something for that. Supercomputer, a fun project you made was an app where you input the bus line number and it tells you which side of the bus to sit on to maximize shade time. That is a really cool app. Yeah, that's really awesome. Like things like that. So like that feels like something where you're like a little tiny frustration, just a teeny tiny frustration. And that turns into an application that both you can use, is useful, and is something you put on your resume. And as someone who has been a hiring manager in the past, and I probably will in the future too, they're seeing somebody put something on their resume, a project that is actually used for real and not just something they built to like learn the technology, is so much more impressive. I basically almost always want to talk to those people. Scope the project in the smallest possible feature set as well. That's very true. What makes you annoyed these days is everything becomes web API related. It is hard to avoid the web because most of the time we want something on our phones. And that usually ends up being, well, then it's going to be in a browser. Okay, there you go. Currently working on an Android app. Tracking my job, applying activity. That's a perfect application right there. It is true though, Mr. Romuald. Every time that I feel like, okay, I want to build this thing, I'm going to build it as like this type of app or something else. And then eventually I'm like, well, how is it going to be used? Well, I want to use it here and here and here and here in these different systems. And oh, that's a browser app, isn't it? It's just a web app. And like he keeps on coming back to that. When I like think about how it's going to be used, who's going to use it and where. Sharper guy, hello. If you write something as going to be a terminal client because you despise front end. I have the terminal's your front end now. That being said, there are a lot better options for using the browser these days. But my favorite way to sort of like, I don't know, not change, but like recontextualize what the web browser is. These days, think of the web browser as a virtual machine to run your code. That's it. It's just a virtual machine to execute your code. So you can have like a similar environment across all systems, and that's what you get. There's something about spending 2 days figuring out when you set rounded cutters and widget why it's still rounded that just gets you frustrated. Well, that's your problem. We just don't worry about that. Just, of course, then if we're being paid for it, then we usually have to worry. But if it's our own stuff, who cares? It's just edges. It's either rounded or not. It's just a thing. Um, Even like Microsoft.NET Forms, Pizza Hut still uses that for food orders. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Nobody cares in the end. I think there's been this idea of like in visual design that it's like super super important, but in the end, it's always been proven that the end people who use the tools don't care as long as they get what they want done. They'll like people will use a Craigslist was listed for the longest time as the perfect example of this because it just looked like a site out of the 90s. And I think it finally updated their design, but they probably didn't need to. People kept on using it and nobody could beat them because they got what they wanted done. No Demon, hello. Howdy. How are you doing today? Okay. Why Rust not easy to learn? And what's up with Rust Foundation? Those are two different things. So, Rust is not easy to learn because it's well, we have to probably like ask like which parts of it are not easy to learn. I've been thinking about this a lot more recently, and I think that Rust is about as equal to learn if you're a beginner programmer to everything else because you haven't had to unlearn anything. Rust is pretty hard to learn the more programming you've learned because the style is different. So there's not quite as much transferable skills that you can bring into it. So you have to like relearn a lot of different things, and you have to learn like new flows and frameworks. Whereas if you go from something like, I don't know, Java to, well, maybe not new. I mean, even Java to Python is not going to be that hard because they're still based upon very similar ideas and methodologies. There's still classes, it's still flowing, like each module is still flowing from top to bottom. Each thing is like still synchronous, or you can set asynchronous if you want. You can use thread. All these ideas are the same, exactly the same. The terminology is different, but the general idea is exactly the same. It's also the reason why, like, want to like see how hard programming can be. Do game dev as a non-game dev. Like, it's gonna be suddenly you're in a different paradigm of everything. It's like, oh wow, this is really, 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 really hard to just wrap my brain around. So it's that's why I think it's hard, because there's a lot of different things that you don't transfer over. What's up with the Rust Foundation? Rust Foundation is sort of it's a foundation same as like the Node Foundation, same as I think there's a few other foundations out there that sort of control what's going to happen. And then there's the project and then the foundation. The project is like what happens to the language. Foundation is what happens to fund the language. And the foundation is what like hires the lawyers and do all that kind of stuff. So every time that they make a change, and I've seen this with like everyone else these days, it seems, there's always a lot of drama around it because people really like Rust, people want to like Rust. Also, some people hate Rust, and so anytime there's an opportunity to for change, is going to be either why are you changing my thing, or you changed something and now I can take advantage of that. And so you're going to get it's just drama. Like there's going to be drama, and it's also like a very early on in the stage, so we're going to see that all the time. So it's what's up with the Rust Foundation? Not much, really. It's it's a thing. It exists. Does that answer the question? It's really hard to sort of like answer anything more. All right, I missed a bunch of stuff during that. Let's see. You're chatting about how hard Rust is. Most of us Rust devs are ex-Haskell or ex-Lisp guys, and I'm not one of those. I came from systems administration into web development into Rust. So in some ways easy, and some ways not easy. Garbage collector is an enemy of mega scale apps. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can basically, if you have a garbage collector, you're going to have to keep that in mind. A lot of people really like the Rust for the type system. I agree with that. I do like the type system rather than just the speed. Yeah, that brings a really good point. Rust, and I think I see this a lot of times where people are like, you should never clone, you should never do these things. People are programming with Rust for different purposes and using things for different things. Like there's different reasons for using Rust. Mega speed is one of them, but not necessarily, it may not be the most important one that you're going for. Sometimes you just want something that is going to help protect you while you're writing it, so you don't have to go and test types later on. So therefore, that's yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm only half finishing my sentences right now. I'm getting distracted by new thoughts in the middle of a thought, which is not the best for answering. So sorry about that. Hybrid IO. Hello. Yeah, if a client signs us 1 million points to analyze, we get performance hits, whereas in Rust it would be a lot less performance hits. That I think something that I've seen a lot of developers sort of miss is that if, right? Like in some companies or in some jobs, you absolutely know you're going to be hit with that type of demand. And in some companies, you're not. Like I've met people that wanted to set up full big architectural systems when there was never going to be more than 50 clients at the same time. And if you're not going to have that many users hitting something simultaneously, you don't need a big giant system to support it. How many languages do I know? Oh, geez. That's, how many do I know? Well, so when I first started, I used C a bunch, but I haven't used it in forever. So I don't know if I count that anymore. But I can say that I programmed in it. So C, Bash, a lot of Bash. We have web technologies, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript. Can we count CoffeeScript? I used CoffeeScript back when it was popular. There's a bunch of little side languages that transpile into HTML, so I use those. Let's see. Python, so the other scripting languages, so Python. I've used a little bit of Ruby. Oh, there was some weird ones Corn Shell, which is different enough that I had to learn that to update some stuff. And then we sort of move on to more modern day stuff, and then we have Rust. Did I mention TypeScript? I think I did. So I don't know, a handful or so. These days, once you learn a few languages, it gets to the point where you're okay, I can totally learn a new one on the as needed. and become productive in it really, really, really fast. All right, I'm scrolled back in chat, so I can't see. I can't. Well, I'll do my best to catch up. Let's see. Discord moved their backend from Go to Rust because of garbage collection issues. They wrote a post about that. Yeah, it sped everything up just instantaneously. They probably could have reprogrammed it in Go and got the same speed, but it would have required, like, I think Rust sort of like forces you to do it in a way that helps get the speed right away. Also, like, it all depends. Random senior guy on the internet, which is like that's how the way we should begin every answer. Esitsu use LiveScript instead of CoffeeScript. I don't even I don't think I ever touched LiveScript. I do remember after CoffeeScript there was a ton of these scripting languages that were coming out because everybody wanted to create theirs that transpiled into JavaScript. But CoffeeScript earned the most honorable death that a language could possibly earn. And like 90% of that language just got absorbed by JavaScript. And therefore everybody was like, well, JavaScript has everything we want now, so I guess we're just going to go back and do that. Don't force yourself into COBOL. That's probably a good statement. I have an entire thing that I would tell students about, like, COBOL, especially after they saw how much money you can make in older sort of like quote unquote dead languages. Like the TLDL to it is basically it's a trap. Like, they pay a lot because very few people want to program in it. And also it's going to take forever to learn enough to be hired for it. And you can't just learn that on your own. You're not going to learn to write patterns. So you're going to have to go learn from the companies that need it. Going to go focus on your Kotlin and Go, which are fine. Those are great languages. You can do Android stuff with it. What happened to CoffeeScript? So CoffeeScript basically it provided almost all the things that JavaScript plus ES6 provided. So fat arrow functions. It provided the string templating, things like that, and async. Did it also have async await? I can't. It might have had async await. It had things like that, and it's like, oh, okay. JavaScript started after ECMAScript 5. JavaScript decided it wasn't going to have another like multi-decade delay again for updates, so it started doing really fast. Like every year there's some kind of update that comes out in a spec, and when that started happening, everybody's like, well, everything in CoffeeScript is great, or a lot of things in CoffeeScript is great. Why don't we just use that? And so they just created RFCs for it, and a lot of them made it in. And then what was it? The next thing that came out was what's the one that allows you to use future stuff? Babel? Might have been Babel. Came out also and allows you to basically say, hey, I want like whatever version I want. Just let me program in that, and it goes into whatever version I want it to be in deployed land. And so like that was the death roll to every language that wasn't TypeScript. TypeScript comes out and says, ooh, we can do that same thing with Babel. In fact, we'll work with it behind the scenes, and you can program with types. So you get your types, and you get web. So it's like best of both worlds. There's still some things about TypeScript I wish we had like the Rust type system for TypeScript. That would be amazing, but we're there. Every once in a while I get with one of my mentors and we chat about TypeScript types and Rust types and like where I would love to see it go. And West WASM has come along. Well, really, we can just say WASM in general, right? Because now, if you're a dev, doesn't matter what language you have, as long as there is a WASM target that you can compile to, you can now program for the web, because WASM has come far enough along that this is now possible. Like we can write full Rust code and have very just a little tiny sprinkling of JavaScript and everything can just work, which is amazing. It's what the WASM people were telling us was going to happen, and it just didn't for the longest time until suddenly we're all here now. All right, I'm caught up with chat. They never made something like Elm for the back end, right? Never used Elm. I've used lots of things that are based on Elm. You love it by TypeScript is fundamentally flawed because of strictness, being a superset of JavaScript and inheriting the warts and dynamism. The one thing you wish it had, though, is the ability to statically type annotate that a function throws. Oh, yeah, like result types. That's one thing that I would really like to, is some kind of result type. That would be amazing. But those are all the things that, like, if like a side language. So if you want something to get big into like a web language like TypeScript or JavaScript, you build a side language that implements that, and then if it gets popular, then the original project will incorporate that in, and it'll be a thing now. I do not get a 200 back. We get a 204 back, don't we? Which means I don't get this at all. So I just do the thing. I don't get anything back here. And then I need to get it again. Which means I can use that same URL, can I? Which means I need to... Can I do that? You'll have Reason ML for writing front-end stuff. I've never used Reason ML. I've met people who have, and they said they liked it. The problem these days is there's so many interesting technologies. Even if we were to stay in one language, there's so many frameworks and other interesting things inside that one language that would just keep you busy learning that for forever. So at some point in time, we have to get more generic and say, okay, I'm going to learn these things for fun, and then everything else I'm going to learn as needed when I need it for work. And that's it. And then the rest of it is like, okay, we'll just sort of let it be, and do our best not to have FOMO. Okay, updated book. Well, this is gonna be another response, isn't it? So I want a client. We're going to get to that same URL. We'll send, wait, question mark. This should also give us this should get us a 200. And this is now the updated book. This gives us that book. Okay. So now I have the updated book. I want to make sure it's the same as this book, but the ID. Okay, so I actually need to keep the original ID, which is out. Where is that? It's right here. So I really need you. Ooh, I don't want to take all of you though. I don't know. So I don't know how to change my surround match. That kind of, that's too bad. Let's go like this. So I want to delete you, add you in there. This can become the created book ID. We'll just throw into here. I don't need, it's 932, so that implements copy. We're good. Okay, so we do that. All right, now a bunch of asserts. You really like the Java's throws syntax. It's been a while since I touched any Java. It's just throw with catch errors, right? Like, is there something more to it? Okay, so you should expect okay, so that's the ID there, and I should have the created book ID here. Okay. The problem with throws is that null pointer exception isn't checked. It's on a function signature, so if you want to throw most errors, you need to declare that you may do it. Oh, so that's what Java does, is you have to declare that you might throw. That's a more recent thing. When did that get added in? Because I don't remember, because I never programmed Java like program, but I did help some students who were running into problems, and I don't remember that being a requirement. But Java's updated a lot since I was actually teaching in a classroom. You remember from at least 2010? Okay, so I was definitely teaching more towards like 2015 to 2018. So, interesting. It had there then. Oh wait, it's on functions. Oh, I think that's what it was. Most of my students weren't getting, like, when they were doing Java, which we didn't teach Java, by the way. We just told them they had to do something. They in their final projects, they had to use some foreign technology that we never taught them. So either a new language or a new framework or something like that. A new API doesn't count. And so a few of them would choose Java and go on an at. And I don't think they used functions. I think most of them just used the method, like the standard classes and methods. So maybe that's what it is that it's not required on methods, but it is required on functions? Or is it optional? Like you don't have to use it, but you can. Okay, it's on methods. Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that, but maybe I'm just misremembering. And they did have it. And that wasn't the problem that they were running into. All right, so we check the ID. Okay, so then we want to check the name. I could probably just unwrap these. And then I expect the name to now be... Oh, no, I want these updated book. Okay, updated book name. I want that to be equal to the created book name. And then you're going to be unwrapped too, because you're both options. I guess I could test to make sure that they're both sums of the thing. I think option has partial equal, right? So I can do this. Yeah, that'll work. So then... okay, so then after... Okay, so book.name, then next would be price. Then in stock. And then that'll be it. So that's all 4 things: ID, name, price, and stock. Okay, it's on discipline to use and not enforced in Java. Okay, that explains why I never saw it, because none of the students ever did it. Because we didn't really teach them about that kind of thing, and we weren't requiring you to like do like the super dive deep into a new technology. We just we wanted them to be able to show to potential employers, hey, this person in 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks was able to learn enough of a new language to build this cool thing. If only you had the option to opt into knowability in Java. Oh, that would be interesting to have like an opt-in for knowability. No. Well, you know what? TypeScript has that with union types. So you can union type something where it's like, this can either be this specific concrete type as the return for a function, or it could be null. It's one of those two things. And because of that, then there's certain methods that you can't do. You have to like, TypeScript will then force you to handle that at that point. The closest that we have to that in Rust would be option types. Or enums. Enums can also sort of work as union types too. Okay. I guess this is all part of the verify it updated, isn't it? So... Okay, there's that. Let's put this comment back in here. I like breaking it out like this. So we have create book, update the book, and then verify that the update happened. And so we get all that stuff, and then it should just work. Let's run our test. Failed. Okay. I failed to update a book. Okay, so that's the one we just worked on. Okay, thread. Should update a book, panicked at called, result unwrap on an error on line. And Rand. Oh, hey. Are you coming here? Do you want to sit on my lap? Yeah, I'm warm. Okay, Sylvia, I do need to move forward a little bit. Okay. No, it's okay. Hi. Okay, he didn't like me. I had to scoot back to give him room to get on my lap because I didn't want him to step on the keyboard. So I put the keyboard underneath the desk, and then I went forward again, and he didn't like that. Okay, so you're standing right in front of the camera, Sylvie. That's not helpful. All right, what happened here? So something in Rand. I could pass in that Rust backtrace. That would give me, but we have Rand right here. So there's only a couple places that we run into this. This also, to me, is a runtime error, right? So it unwrapped on an error value, invalid probability. There's only one place I'm using probability, which is here, gen bool. Oh, it doesn't want to be 50. It wants to be 0.5. Yeah, okay. I got it just as you type that in to the chat. Okay, and then that works. So everything here is fine and happy and great. Let's get rid of all these warnings. Okay, everything is good and happy there. All right, so we are testing that we can update a book. Okay, so after update, so if we want to do CRUD, so we're on the U, so that means delete is the last one. Okay, what do we want to do for deleting a book? So I want to, I don't want to delete the books that were seeded because I don't know the order that these tests are going to run. And so if it deletes them before we're using one of them, that would obviously be bad. So I want to create a new book. So create a book. Then we're going to, I guess, delete the book. verify book is deleted. Now, part of this also would be, do I want this? Okay, do I want to do a test here for if I associate a book with an author? I don't know. Do I have those as part of my tests? Okay, so we have create an author, get all authors, get one author, update an author, delete an author, create a book. Okay, no. So we're going to have, after this, we'll do the book authors as those tests. So. Okay, so a new random book. Okay, so now I have my created book at this point in time. Another technical question. I should mark the other one as completed. In C or M, in case if the insert fails because of duplication, is it a DB error or some other type of error? That's a good question, and I don't remember the answer. Mostly, I don't remember the answer because I just use error, some like generic error handling, and I just question mark that and just handle that later. And so I kind of stopped paying attention to different types of errors because I just sort of force them all together into the same error. Using error, if that makes sense. So I don't actually know. And if the insert fails, it's gonna be whatever the insert is. So let's go here. Let's go find out. If we go into, where is it? It's gonna be in source DB book queries. Here's insert book. So I create an active model. I then save, and then I question mark here. So at this point, that would be the error, right? And it looks like it's gonna be, oh, it doesn't show there. It ran out of room. It's just a DB error. I bet if, okay, so let's go to save. Let's go to DB error. And here's all the DB errors that we could possibly get. So connection required, trying to error. Let's see, runtime error. Execution error. So this one might be a duplicate. It's probably that generic error here. It's probably this runtime error. Execution error. It's probably this one here. And then they put in whatever that error is at runtime. They then insert the message. You did use question mark, but it seems to skip to the happy path. Oh, as in it failed to insert into the database, but it also didn't update. Am I reading that correctly? Okay. So let's see. We then save it. What method did you use? Did you use something like this where you created the active model, set everything on there without the ID, and then you hit save, and then it failed at that point? Or did you do a more CQL method where it was like an actual just writing the query itself? Same without the try into. Okay. So, Interesting. Okay, so let's see. If I go into save, insert the model, primary key is not set, update otherwise, so it's an upsert. So let's see. It first figures out if you're an update or not. If you're not an update, go to insert. Okay, let's go to insert. Before save. Okay, so you run the before save. Which I don't think we had anything set. Maybe there's some automated stuff in there. You get the model, you exec with returning, and then you have after save. Exec with returning. Insert new. Exec with returning. There's so many exec insert with returnings or exec with returning type things. Okay. So here is, okay, so attempts to found it. So, if the database matches returning, which database are you using? MySQL. Does MySQL not support returning here? Interesting. Although, okay, so if it supports returning, then does the statement with returning in it, it then builds it and then gets the thing back, right? So So insert it with returning. Okay, you'll get the error. You'll get the full error. I hope that doesn't if it's long or complicated, Discord with like the triple ticks might be the better place to put it. And then I can read that. I can read that, and we can take a look there too. I haven't personally used. I use MySQL at work. I don't remember. So there's a variety of things that could be happening, right? So it's possible that CQL or CORM just attempts to insert if there's a duplicate key. It might not consider that an error for some reason, or maybe I don't know. Like there could be a lot of different things. Execution error, error returned from database, duplicate entry for key primary. Well, that sounds like a DB error, right? Because that's execution error colon is exactly what we saw in this DB error. So if we come here, what? Oh, it doesn't know how to go there. Oh, that's fun. Okay, don't. No. Okay, well, whatever. Oops. All right, let's go find it again. We were gonna go to source, DB book queries. Let's go find a save. Okay, definition. Here's this DB error. Here's this execution error right there. I deleted a character. That's why I did it. Wrong key. Oops. Okay, so thank you, Superkeeper, for that. I deleted it and like I forgot, and then I saw that and I'm like, ooh, I know how to fix this, and I just queued bang without thinking about it, and brought me back to Ranger. So that was fun. But we're back here pretty quickly. Okay, so here's this execution error. And we notice that it's execution error colon and then the name of a message. That is... So you are getting a DB error. That's what you're getting. So it's not necessarily... I don't think that it's happy path. It must be something else. And I think Superkeeper's idea of putting a debug on the response from the database before anything else happens can be really helpful, because that would tell you the type that's coming back. There's no Zilby here anymore. So no D-Man, if you could do that and let us know. Yeah, give that a shot and let's let us know what changes. In the meantime, let's continue writing the delete book test. So I created my book here. Let's grab the ID out of here. Okay, so I get the book ID there. Okay, so now I want to actually just delete the book, which should be fairly simple. I want a... I need to create a new URL. So this is, I guess I'll just do new URL equals format. Okay, that should be a 204 no content. So then the book supposedly at this point in time has been deleted. So then I want to verify and find out. Well, I want to check again. And I want to get a 404 now. Yeah, and all the tests are working. So perfect. Okay, that's exactly what's going on. Okay, so that's CRUD for books, and then the next things on the list is going to be the book authors, so the connection between them. So CRUD for that would be should associate book with author. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Again, I don't want to do this with any existing ones, so we'll have to create an author, create a book, associate author with book. I'll keep the order of these the same. So book with author. Okay. Then I want to get the author with the books. Okay, so when getting author should also get book they are associated with. And then I want the other way too. So when getting book should also get author associated with. And I think that's it, right? We're just creating like in some ways this is a C and R together. And there's no U. So it's really we have create and delete. That's it. I could combine those all together, but this is going to be a big test already. So maybe we'll just sort of stick with this. Because the last thing would be then deleting either the author or the book. And that should delete the association. This is already going to be a lot. So we'll do that next time. So, okay. I probably want to get this out too, but okay, we'll do the response status. That should be a 201. And let's grab the created author out of this. Okay, so that gives me, I now have an author. Let's do the same thing for a book. Okay, we need to update the URL. Okay, then we have a created book. Oh, you know what? I think I should have been using the test book and test author this entire time for the coming back. So my response, this should be test book. We'll see whether or not that works, and if it does, we'll come back and rewrite these. It should be a refactor because the functionality should stay the same. But of course, it's test, so it doesn't. Can you really ever refactor tests? I feel like they're always technically a rewrite. Okay, we now have a created author. We now have a created book. I now want to associate the book with the author. I could extract the ID out of here, out of each of them. But okay, associate book with the author. What was the route that I created? Did I create a route for this? Oh, book authors. That's what it is. Do I have a test book authors? Oh yeah, I have test. Okay, so test author has an ID on it. Test book has that. And then I don't have a test book author. So I need to create that. That could be just in here. We have an author ID, I-32, and a book ID. I think that's what we need. What does book authors return? Good question. So if we go to source router, book authors returns a book author that was created. So that would be, and if we go take a look at that, that's just a data structure that has the author ID and a book ID. And that's it. Okay, so that's it for use. Then I want to now go to tests, integration. Okay, so I want to associate a book with an author. So I want to do let a book author. It's going to be a new book author. That's the official book author. Oh, I want a test book author. Okay, so author ID is going to be created author ID right. If I unwrap there's like a cloned unwrap, maybe this will be fine. You would have put an endpoint on our books ID authors to associate an author. Yeah, I thought about that too. I thought about that too, and I just went with this. It's not like, I guess it's, it goes back and forth with like, what is the spec called? It's REST, because like it's a create a book authors, so it is a create there, but also associating like. I think the reason why I went with that way is like I could do books IDs authors, and then /ID. I could do that, or it could be the other way around where it's authors ID books ID. I think that's the reason why I ended with a book authors on its own, is because it doesn't care anymore. I think I just went with that and just didn't care. And to be honest, I don't think it matters that much. I'm certain that there's going to be somebody who complains no matter what I do, like in the course itself. So I'll just be fine. You can't find that. You need import you. That's why I didn't get help. Okay, so I get a book author here now, and then I want to create the new URL. So we're going to post to this URL. We're going to set the JSON, which is going to be a reference to book author. Okay, so now I've sent this response. Okay, now I'm getting the response back after creating the book author. We should get a test book author back. We should also check the response. So this should be a 201. Create book author is going to equal to the response. We'll get the JSON. This should be a test book author. Wait there. Stacking, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so we now have a created book author. What do I want to do with the created book author? I want to, I guess like nothing right now, right? Like, that's great. We have you. I want to now, so I actually don't know if I care about this as the response. I think if they just send it, if they don't send anything back and it's just a 201, I'm okay with that. Okay, when getting an author. Today starts your liquid diet for the next 2+ weeks. Does that mean you're getting your thing done today or in 2 weeks? Or somewhere in the middle? Or is it something else? Because I remember you mentioned there was this big thing that you were going to have done that was going to happen before and it didn't, right? And now it's happening Wednesday. Okay. So a couple days beforehand and then a long time after. Oh, that sounds like it sucks. I'm sorry about that. But also, I'm glad you're having it finally. Now I want to get the author again. So okay, so I want to go to authors and then the ID, which is going to be, and then I've already lost the ID, haven't I? I lost it here. Let us actually grant these out. Okay, that gives me an I-32 and that has copy type. So then I can just use that here. Which then I could just do this here because it's copy type and who cares? And then we're good to go. Can't wait, but also not looking forward to chicken broth for 2 weeks. Is that all you're having essentially? Certainly there's more that you can have, right? I remember the few times that I've been on liquid diet, we changed it up a few times. course, it also depends upon how much, like, remember after my wisdom teeth were out, you can't use a straw. So it's like whatever you drink has to like not be too thick and like fit into a glass. Okay, so I created the authors, then I'm gonna get the author. So we this should be now the author with book. So I'm gonna do another request. Okay, so that should give me the author, but now I have the book with it, supposedly. We can insert equal to make sure it's a 200. And that isn't really the author of the book. This is the response. So that should be a 200, and then I can do, this is the author with book. That book, I want JSON. Okay, so this should be a test author. Okay, so that gives me the author with a book. And then I want to look through. So we already tested getting the author. So now I want to test. Okay, so we can grab the book out of it. So this maybe I can just do an assert equal. This might be too much. I'll do author with a book. We have books, which is an option, so that should definitely exist. And then I want, so it's a vector, so I want the first one, then another unwrap. Yeah, this is a bit much for a single assert. Let's not do that. Let's do let author's book. How about that? Equals author with book. Okay, books, unwrap, first, unwrap. There we go. Okay, no demon. You goofed up while placing the question mark operator. Duplicate is a DB error. Okay, that makes a lot of sense based upon that message that you were getting back. So you probably had a question mark operator and it was easy to miss. That's one of the things about the question mark operator that's a little bit dangerous, is how easy it is to miss and like not notice it. Is the question mark operator considered something different in editors? Because if it is, maybe we can make it be a different color than everything else and make it really, really, really noticeable. That would be nice. Because it's also only one character, so I don't need to really recognize it too much. I can just recognize what it is based upon the color. So I can make it like bright yellow or something. I don't need to actually read it. And then I probably can just test that the IDs are the same, can't I? So here's the created book. Actually, if I have partial equal on test book, which I don't know if I have. I don't, but if I have partial equal in here, I might be able to just do an assert equal. This is the author's book, and that's a reference when you then do a reference to the created book. Temporary value dropped. Wait, where is that? So, okay, unused import. Let's get rid of the warning. So we only have this thing. So temporary value dropped while borrowed creates a temporary value which is freed while still in use. Consider using a let binding. I wonder if I should use something like an if let. No. Oh, yeah, because I'm unwrapping it while here, so it's not happy about that. In VS Code, it's white, so very easy to miss. It's the same here. It's white, so it's very easy to miss. You suppose that it depends on which editor you're using, but it should be fairly easy in VS Code. It's is there like a name? Because I know in themes there's different like names for each type of thing, right? It's like variable, like function name or something like that, and then you can basically set those to be different colors. But question mark, okay, and your symbols like ampersand and question mark are purple. So in mine, the ampersand is purple, but the question mark is not. I wonder, it's what theme are you using? I'm really curious. What theme are you using? I'm using a white to dark. Okay, so there's scopes, so attribute, type, constructor, constant, with some special versions of those. It depends on what actually is doing styling. In VS Code, the REST Analyzer plugin adds custom scopes in addition to the default TextMate scopes, which would make sense because like if the scope is there, then you can add that as a key value thing. But then the theme that I'm using would have to support that. And the one I'm using does not support that. I guess like do any of you have a theme that does that to question mark? Because it's probably that theme is probably paying attention to that custom scope and then styling it, whereas I'd white to dark does not. And this was the first theme on the list that looked okay in dark mode. So that's why I chose it. Not anything like special. So I'm okay with changing it around. Ooh, we can panic. Panic might be better. Or I could bail. Bail might print out too. I don't remember. Oh, temporary value is freed. Okay, so books. Can I as ref it? Oh, because it's a double reference. Like that references that. Oh, this might have worked. Hold on. Oh, you know what else I could have done? Hold on. I could map it too. That might be better. Okay, so we have books, which is an option with a vector. So if I map you, that's going to be a vector of that. Can I do first? No, there's no method first. There's no like method off of vex for that. So this is going to be the books. I want books dot first, like that. That gives me an option. Okay, well, right. I'm just mapping the outside option, which is not necessarily what I want. Well, I could also, instead of doing first, we could just say, you know what? Give me that. Oh, wait. Is there a flatten? Oh. I don't see a flatten here. Hold on. Let's try that. First. There's no flatten there. Oh, flatten. Okay. That gives me, there we go. Okay, that gives me the option. And then I can keep on doing dot when I haven't gotten into that mode. Okay, but can I return reference to the function parameter? Oh, so the problem here is that I would then need to do something like clone. No, I wouldn't clone there. It'd be like first and then clone here. Yeah, still need, okay, so let's do the as ref. Oh, and then. Oh, I haven't used and then before. Okay, so and then is member of option, returns none if the value is none, otherwise calls function with the unwrapped value and returns the result. Nice. Okay, so it's basically similar to map, but a little bit different. So it's something and then that, unwrap it, and now I have a reference to test book. Okay, then that should exist and be happy. Okay. So we should get that. And then we want to do the exact same thing here. Okay, we have a book with an author now. And so now I want to do the exact same thing we just did here. So when I get the book's author. All right, so we're going to do book with author. All right, we'll get authors out of here, which is, that's the option for the vec of authors. So we'll do our as ref. And then. And so how is the description of map different? Maps an option to an, okay, so it maps types. Maps an option T to an option U by applying a function to a contained value of something, or returns none of nothing. And then returns none if the option is none, otherwise calls a function with the wrapped value and returns the result. Is some and won't, yes, returns Boolean. Okay, so this will be an authors. So I want to do authors.first. So get that. And then I want to unwrap you. Okay, that gives me the book author. I want to assert equal that our book author it's really like book author. Oh, books. I guess I can't use like a parenthesis? No, apostrophe? Something. Whatever that little symbol is. My brain apparently decided to forget words today. So we have the book's author. And I want to make sure that that's the same as the created author. Okay. What is the chance this is going to work? This is going to work. This is a mega test. Nothing. Not happy. Can't compare test author with author. I didn't want to compare it with author. Did I get the wrong thing out? Just replace all instances of a book with Brooke? Oh, we could do that. Okay, so test author with author. Did I get... Okay, so I create a book. Oh, look at that. I'm getting the author back. I want this to be a test author. Went back. That's why. We got a 500 when we wanted to get a 201 on line 310. So this is associating a book with an author, and we should be able to see this error message in here. Error creating association between book and author, record not found, failed to find updated item. Okay, so we see here, okay, so failed to find, looks like it tried to do a select where book authors, author ID, book ID from book authors. Can I see what line this is? I mean, I know it's from book authors. Here's the router for that. Here's the error creating association between book and author, and then it's the error. So we have record not found as the error type. It was a 500, so associate book with author. Okay, so it happened through the only early exit. The only question mark I'm seeing in here is this one, right? That's the only question mark here. So this is the only place that it could error out is when I hit save. Huh, which is an immediate record not found. Okay, so book author queries, associate book with author, await that, map the error, and I'm returning created, which is, okay, just the 201 status code. You're saying that it was looking for the other, failed to find updated item. But it shouldn't find an updated item, right? I'm a little bit concerned about what this book author's is. Okay, so author ID and book ID. Ooh. I think I know what's going on here. So the problem here, take a look at what happened. It did a select. It's supposed to have done an insert, but it did a select. So it did a select because I gave it the primary keys, which is it's a table that has primary keys of book ID, author ID. And because it thinks that it has those, it's supposed to be doing a select. When I do a save, it thinks it's doing an update, not an insert. That's what's going on. So I need to change you to, instead of doing a save. Now, what are my choices? Can I do book authors? I could just do insert. This might work. Okay, so better. We got farther, I think. Should associated book with author. Don't need that D. Okay, assertion failed, left equals right. So we have test book. ID sum 56. Name is exactly correct. Sum 37. In stock, sum true. Authors. Oh, right, because the authors is none and sometimes is some. So I could implement partial equal myself, or we can switch to test asserting each part, because we don't have any authors in the first one, and we. Okay, well, that makes sense why it's gonna fail, and it's kind of annoying. I could also implement partial equal for the models, which would cause this to work. So let's try that. This was in test book, right? It's been a while since I've implemented partial equal. Okay, so I have equal. So we have self and we have the other, and that's just a Boolean. Okay, so that's all we care about, is just the Boolean part. So self.id is equal to other.id. Ooh, not like that. And self.name Okay, so if I just do that and I ignore the authors. Oh, interesting how it likes the ampersand at the beginning of the lines with the tabbed in. That makes sense. I like that more too. That works with books, and now I need to do the exact same thing to authors. Okay, and that's all I need to do there. And then you'll be happy. And there we go. Okay, happy. That is, let's remove that D from the name of the function. Okay, that is should associate book with author. Okay, so that is like create and read essentially. There is no update for that, and so delete would be the next one. So should remove association with author when deleting book. Yeah, I think so. Should remove association with author when deleting a book, and vice versa. But we'll do this one. I don't know if I need to do the other one as a test either. Okay, what do we need to do for this one? We need to create an author, create a book, it felt right to say "and" initially when I said like create and a book, create an author, create an book. That doesn't make sense. Create a author, create, just to make it consistent. Now my brain is like, how do I English? I don't remember words. Okay, so create an author. I keep on saying create an because it just feels right. Create a book. Associate author and book. Then delete. Let's delete the book. Then get author. Verify author doesn't have book. Okay. Okay, so I've now have created the author. Time to create the book. Okay. What are you upset about? Oh, is not coming back. Okay. Here's the way I want to do it. Okay, so I have now created the book and the author. I want to associate the author and a book. So I need the IDs for each of these. We are going to book authors. Is that what it is? Author books? Book authors. Okay, so I have that. Let's assert equal. That you are at 201. Okay. I have now associated author with that book. I now want to delete the book. Okay, I've now deleted the book. We want to get the author again. We need to do the URL again. And before I could even get that, I need the response. Okay, now we can get this. So we'll get a response. JSON, you're going to be the author, not the author. You're going to be a test author. Okay. So now I have an author with a deleted book. I want to verify the author doesn't have a book. Okay, so then here, how do I want to do this? Like I want to make sure that it's just none, right? So this is just going to be in a plain assert. So assert the author deleted books. So this should be is some, right? So that should unwrap successfully and then is empty. That should be what we have. Let's find out if that works. Ho, first try. All right. Technically, this should work on the other side too. I should probably just, duplicate this entire thing. And do it again the other direction. Okay, so create an author, create a book, associate the author in a book. Delete the author. Okay, delete the author. We send a delete to that. That should be a 204. Get the book. Okay, get the book. Send that out. Then this is going to be book with deleted author. Book with deleted author. Oh, is test book. Authors unwrap is empty. Okay, so that should now be updated. And when you run, everything's happy. I'm using this full book. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this response here, wherever I found, okay, so search for book. That's, wait, why is that? Oh, 2 selections. Okay, so change, this will be test book. Create a book name, some. You don't need to be that. Okay, so you're that. Combine book. Okay, so you're also a test book. and now you're happy. All right, no more warnings or errors across the entire project, which is great. So this is I keep on saving it. This is all written and done. Okay, so the plan tomorrow. Let's actually commit this before I forget. Okay, so we finished testing all of that. The plan tomorrow is to work on the README. I need to make sure that there's good instructions for this assessment and that is like understandable what's going on with it. Now, with all of the assessments, I am planning on like introducing them with, as part of like the course. So there's going to be something in there that's like beyond just like a, hey, go read this. But having instructions in there would be nice too. So I need to do that. And then besides that, yeah, I need to make sure that check is running properly too. So a little bit left to work on for this assessment. But I think the coding aspect is mostly done, except for the fact that it doesn't think I've formatted the code correctly. So we'll need to figure that out. And then besides that, I think we're pretty good to go. And then we move on to the next assessments, figuring out what's next. So that will be tomorrow starting around 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And we'll go about until now with that as well. Hey, Zilby. Welcome back. I'm not going to turn on cam. We're done. So that's all I've got. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And I hope that you all, hope that you all have a great rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Bye.